This is how to go from broke to rich as a teenager. And yesterday I was on this podcast with a guy named Andy. He's an 18-year-old kid. He did $1.6 million, yeah, with the big M, in a weekend, in 3 fucking days. And there was another guy on the podcast named Zach. He does like 30 to 40K a month with his real estate agency. And I personally scaled my own agency to 36K a month, right? And so I asked myself, we're all in different niches, we're all in different markets. And so I try to figure out what is the thing that we all did in common? What are the steps we all did? And I figured it out. I solved it, right? And so in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys these steps that we all took, right? And this isn't going to be shiny. It's not going to be SMMA or IPGA or AAA or any other bullshit. It's just going to be the solid steps framework that we all took, and not only us, but that every other young, successful person I've seen has taken step by step to grow their business, regardless of their niche, regardless of their offer, regardless of their industry. And so if you haven't clicked off yet, if you haven't, the dopamine levels aren't there and you're already scrolling through the comments, you're thinking about clicking off, just watch the next 5 or 6 minutes of this video and I promise you, your business will be a hell of a lot further ahead than it has ever been. So the first step is people. You need a group of people with similarities to sell to, right? And the cool thing is that when they all have similarities, they also share problems. For example, you could have this group of people be fitness coaches, or it could be athletes or solar business owners or small business owners. And the thing in common is that they're gonna share problems. For example, my first business, I was an athlete. And so I chose to work with fitness coaches. And they all had the exact same problem of not being able to get clients. And so therefore, that's all I had to solve in the future, right? And so that I'm gonna go into in the next steps. But the first thing is just this group of people who share problems that you can sell to. And that's called a niche. And from there, the second step is how do we actually solve those problems, right? And so the way that I did it for my first business, and I would recommend you to do it if you're starting out, is I would literally just call people. I would give them a call, right? And on there, I'd basically pretend to be a college business student. So I'd be like, okay, I'm like in the business program. We have to do this school project, etc. And I would ask if I could just ask them 3 simple questions. And then with those questions, I would figure out what their problems were, right? And so I'd go in depth on that, figure out their problems, and I would do like 100 of these calls. So I could get a very deep understanding of what do these people have in common? What are their common problems, right? And then from there, and this is a super key part. After that, I would say, okay, and I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna do some research, I'm gonna talk with some people and see what I can do about solving this problem. And once I figured out a consistent way to solve it, could I do that for free for you in exchange for a testimonial? And not all of them will say yes, but a couple will. And that's all you need to get your first couple of clients. And so with that being said, let's move on to the next step. And so at this point, we have a niche, we understand their problems, and we have a couple clients lined up. But how do we actually build the solution to these people's problems, right? And the key is you need information. You need unique insights. And there's 2 ways to get these. You can either pay with time, or you can pay with money. And you're always making a choice. You decide, right? If you want to pay with time, what you do is you find people in the industry who have already solved the problems that you identified, right? And so for example, if you're working with fitness coaches, you could find a fitness coach making podcasts about how to get more clients or how to retain clients for longer, dependent on the problem you identified, and you see what solution did they have to it, right? This is gonna take a lot of time, a lot of investigating. And I mean, to some people, if you really have no money and no way of getting it, this is the best way to do it. For me, I chose to do it with money because I wanted to grow quickly, and that's how I ended up actually growing quickly because I paid with money instead of time, right? And so if you want to pay with money, you find somebody again in that niche, in that group of people who doesn't have this problem, who has already solved it. And you basically pay them to give you the solution. And so that could be through mentorship, it could be through information, whatever it may be. But essentially, you could go to them, you could say, okay, I pay you this amount of money, you get on a call with me for an hour, 2 hours, you walk me through everything you do to get clients, and then you just take that and you all package it together into a package, and that package is how to solve the problem. And keep in mind, this does not have to be a perfect solution. It just has to be good enough to start somewhere, right? Because as you get those clients, you test it out for free, you figure out what's working, what's not, and then you make it better and better and better and better and better as time goes on. Right? And so that's all you need. You just need a simple framework, a simple outline of how to solve the problem that your niche struggles with. Now, if your dopamine receptors still haven't gone poof, I'm about to reward you because this is the last step and this is how we actually make the money. This is how we actually make that money and we get those paying clients, right? And so there's 2 main ways. Number 1, right now you have all these free clients, all these people that you're working for free. And if you make these guys, let's say 10K, do you think they're going to be, oh my God, my handwriting is horrible. If you make them 10K, do you think they're not going to want to pay you $1,000 for you to keep on working with them? Obviously they will, right? And so that's the idea. Once you start getting better and better results as you progress your service, they'll start paying you. You just ask them to pay you. It's very simple, right? Number two, it's through referrals. And so here, what you'll do is that as you start making the money again and your service starts getting better and better and better, you'll be like, yo, would you know anyone else who's maybe also struggling with getting clients? If that's the problem that your niche has. And they'll be like, yeah, I know like this guy and this guy and this guy. Okay, could you put me in contact with them? I'll help them solve that problem. I'll give them a discount and you're gonna give them a discount for referring you, right? And so overall, everyone wins. You get another paying client. And as you get better and better results, you're gonna start charging more and more and more until with that first company that scaled to 36K a month, I started charging $6,000 to fitness coaches. That's like what they make in a damn month. But that's how good my results were, right? And so past that, once you've done both of these, that's when you really start scaling through two other methods, right? And so number one is through outreach. Number two is through ads. I'm gonna keep the video short. I'll make another video about that. I hate outros. Bye.